So it's not surprising how Telesur have been covering the developments in Venezuela. Why isn't it surprising, you may ask? Well, if you didn't know, it's a socialist state-funded TV network which is sponsored by several Latin American regimes, and its headquarters are actually in Caracas, the Venezuelan capital. If you haven't watched any of its programming before, you can expect anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist material. The United States is cast as the villain of the piece. Now, I do like a good deal of what I hear and see on Telesur English, and I do quite like Abby Martin, but let's face it, Telesur is problematic. It's putting out propaganda designed to make regimes that are known human rights abusers out to be the victims in struggles against opposition forces that are painted as US agents or even fascists in some cases. Having said that, much of what is said about US imperialism as a historical force on the Telesur network is true. It is. Surely most thinking people see the US as the biggest threat to world peace. And maybe things are even more precarious now that that horrendous buffoon Donald Trump is in the White House. Yeah. I understand that right-wing propaganda like Fox News will only report bad news on Venezuela or Cuba and paint these regimes as evil. Yeah. There'll be no reference to the social programs which have helped out many people, helped them out of poverty. In Venezuela, I'm sure there are many decent people who support the Bolivarian revolution and think Nicolas Maduro is a great president. But I bet there are also decent people on the opposition side too. To be fair, Telesur has given a voice to opposition protesters, but the coverage has by no means overall been balanced. No. Now, I do respect Abby Martin as an intrepid journalist of sorts, but she is not an unbiased player. Her support has to fall behind the government in Venezuela. And yes, I'm sure there are thugs on both sides and killers on both sides, but from the Telesur perspective, violent opposition forces have to be cast as worse than the police, worse than the military, worse than groups loyal to the revolution. There has to be a narrative which appeals and makes sense to the loyalists, to supporters of the Venezuelan government. It's a mixture of truth and deception in reality, a mixture of truth and bullshit. Sometimes one has to step back from the political battle of words and the battle on the streets and simply take in some facts. The fact is, Maduro is not universally popular in Venezuela. He is, and has been relying a lot on the support of the military. The fact is, several Latin American nations, including Brazil and Mexico, have condemned the, quote, excessive use of force used by the Maduro regime to crack down on protesters. It's a fact that last year the government of Argentina pulled its funding for Telesur, for the network, as Argentine President Mauricio Macri is concerned about human rights in Venezuela. And why wouldn't he be? I'm going to link in the description to Amnesty International's overview of Venezuela. There are at least a couple of articles that should grab your attention there. Yeah, they make for some uncomfortable reading. Anyway, let me know your views in the comments as always, and I will see you next time, ladies and gents. Peace.